Now let's see this. In the following questions, the symbols star, delta, percentile, at the rate and C are used with the following meaning as illustrated below. So they have used these symbols, and now they are saying what does each symbol stand for. P percentile Q means P is not smaller than Q. So in this case, what does percentile stand for? So percentile actually stands for, now see this, P is not smaller than Q. So what does it mean? P is greater than or equal to Q, right? Therefore percentile stands for greater than or equal to. Let's derive what does each symbol stand for first, and next when we go for the questions we shall see, we shall substitute these symbols with the actual relationships, and then we can solve the questions there. Now P, there is a symbol CQ, means P is neither smaller nor equal to Q, which means P is greater than Q, right? Therefore this symbol means greater than, right? And next one is P star Q, means P is neither greater nor equal to Q, which means less, right? Therefore here the star means, right, so here the star means it is less. Okay, so the next one is P delta Q, means P is not greater than Q. So P is not greater than means less than or equal to, right? Therefore this delta stands for less than or equal to. And P ampersand Q, right, it means P is neither greater nor smaller than Q, which means it is equal, right? So at the rate means, okay, at the rate, right? So at the rate means it is equal. Got it? So now this is the meaning of each symbol that you had derived. Now in each of the following questions, assuming that the given statements to be true, which means these symbols stand for this meaning, assuming that they are true, find which of the three conclusions 1, 2 and 3 given below them is or are definitely true, and give your answers accordingly. So what they are going to give is some statements and then followed by some conclusions. In those conclusions you are supposed to replace in those statements and conclusions these symbols by these relationships, and you have to see whether these conclusions actually follow or not, exactly the same way that we had done in the previous question, right? Let's see the questions now. Now let's see the question here. In the question they are using these these symbols. Now we don't know what these symbols are, therefore let's convert them into relations, right? So R delta K. So what does delta stand for? Delta stand for less than or equal to. So R is less than or equal to K. Next is K star M. What does K star stand for? Less than, right? So K is less than M. Next one is M at the rate J. At the rate means equal to, right? So M is equal to J. Got it? So this is what is given, and the conclusions given are like this. The first conclusion is J C, which means J is greater than K, right? And the second conclusion is M C R, which means M is greater than R. And the third conclusion is R star J. So what do you mean by star? Less. Therefore it is R is less than J. Right? So actual question is this one. So they have given it in terms of symbols, but we have converted it, right? Now let's try to see which of these conclusions are right. Okay. Now let's see this. R is less than or equal to K, K is less than M, and M is equal to J. So it is directly in a format where we can combine all these three. So if you try to combine all these three, what we get is R is less than or equal to K is less than M is equal to J. Right? Now using this you can easily derive all this, right? So they are asking us the relationship between J and K. Now if you see J and K here, right, so these two are equal, M and J, therefore you can directly write J here. So K is less than J. Yes, J is greater than K. It is right. This conclusion follows, right? And now if you see the relationship between M and R, the minimum common thing is less than, and therefore you can write R is less than M, which means M is greater than R. It is right. And next one is R and J, right? The minimal common thing between these two is, so we are talking about R and J here, so J you can write here, again less, therefore R is less than J. Yes, it is true. So now if you observe it, all the three conclusions they follow. So all 1, 2 and 3 are true. 4 is the answer. Got it? Okay. First thing is, just substitute these symbols with the inequalities that we have there and the relationships. So what you get here is Z at the rate and m. So at the rate is equal to m, and then the other one is m c k. So c is greater than k, and the other one is k star f, right? Star means less. Okay, so now if you combine these three, see z and m, m and k and f are there, you can combine them, right? So z equal to m greater than k less than f. This is what we got. Now let's check the conclusion given here. Now the conclusion given here are like this. First conclusion is f c is given, so which means greater than z. So f is greater than z is given. Now let's see this between f and z. So f is here and z is here, and between them there are two different types of inequalities, therefore we cannot compare them. So we cannot compare these two. So first conclusion is wrong. And coming to the second conclusion, so it is k star z. So star is less, so k is less than z, right? So now if you observe it, k and z, between these two you can write z here, right? So z is greater than k, which means k is less than z, right? So it is true. Therefore we can say that conclusion 2 is right. And coming to the third conclusion, FCM, right? So what is FCM? C means here it is greater, so f is greater than m. F is greater than m is given. Now let's see between f and m. So between f and m there are two different types of inequalities, so we cannot compare them. So only conclusion 2 is right. So here the option is conclusion 2 is right. Okay. Now let's see the next question, question number 3. So let's substitute these symbols with the equalities relationships there. So one is percentile. So between v and h, percentile is given. So v is greater than or equal to h. And between h and f, at the rate is given. Therefore at the rate is equal to. And between f and e, delta is given, which means f is less than or equal to e. Right, and now the conclusions are, first one is f at the rate v. So between f and v, equal is given, right? So now what is the relationship between f and v? Now if you combine these three, it is going to be v is greater than or equal to h is equal to f is less than or equal to e, right? Between f and v. Now if you see these two, okay, so what do we get? So f you can write here. Okay, now between f and v, v is greater than or equal to f. Therefore v can either be greater or it can be equal. So it is given as v is f is equal to f is equal to v. There is a chance that it might follow. Got it? So why? Because here we are getting f is less than or equal to v, and here it is given that f is equal to v. Therefore there is a chance that equal to v might follow from this, right? So let's look at the next one. Now v star f. So f and then star is given. Star means less v. So this is what is given. Now again if you see this, either when it is given less than or equal to v, here it is given less than, there is a chance that this might follow. See what do you understand from this? F is less than or equal to v means f is either going to be less than or going to be equal to v, right? Therefore either this or this is going to be following, right? And the third one is, so how do you know that? Because once you put the values there, either this one is going to be true or this one is going to be true. Both of them are not going to be true once you substitute the values, right? And coming to the third one, e and h. So between e and h, it is percentile is given. Percentile means greater than or equal to, right? Now if you see this here, between e and h, e is greater than or equal to h, it is right, because h you can write here. So h is less than or equal to e, which means e is greater than or equal to h, right? Therefore it also follows. So among 1 and 2, one of them follows, either this one or this one, and third one is definitely true. Therefore if you see the option 3, so which of the following is true means 3 is true and either 1 or 2 are true. Therefore it is 5. Okay. Now let's see this question, question number 4. First let's try to substitute these symbols with the actual relations. I think you remember how we got these actual relations from the data that we have read earlier, right? From that I am starting here. So which means along with this question there will be information given in order to derive these relations from the symbols, right? So now let's see how to write them. I mean, what are the relationship between them. So coming to the statements is M, C. So C is greater, right? So M is greater than, U is greater than, L is less than or equal to N. After substituting the relationships here, I got this. And the other statement is L percentile, which means L is greater than or equal to Y is greater than A, right? And now the first conclusion is about Y and N. Okay, so they are saying that Y is less than N. Now if you observe here, Y is here and N is here. Now what is the relationship between Y and N? So in order to get the relationship between these two, I have to combine these two statements. Now the intersection point here is L. So if you observe it, L is less than or equal to N and L is greater than or equal to Y. Therefore if I write like this, Y is less than or equal to L, right, and L is less than or equal to N. Got it? Now if you observe the relationship between Y and N, it is less than or equal to. Therefore from the given statement we concluded that Y is less than or equal to N. So there is a chance that this might be true. Once you substitute the values, if you substitute different values, then there is a chance that Y is going to be less than N. If you substitute equal values, so that in that case it will be Y will be equal to N. Got it? And the second statement is M, C, A, which means M and then C is nothing but greater. So M is greater than A is given. Now if you observe this, the relationship between M and A we have to derive it. Again the common point is L. So from these two you can clearly see that M is greater than L, and from these two you can see that L is greater than A. Got it? Therefore from these two you can see that M is greater than A. Got it? So this is true. So this may or may not be true. I mean this might follow, but this is definitely going to follow, right? The second conclusion. And coming to the third conclusion, it is about N is equal to Y, right? So coming to N and Y, we have already seen that it is less than or equal to. Therefore either 1 or 3 may follow, but definitely 2 is going to be true. So how are you going to write the answer? 2 is going to be true and either 1 or 3 are true. Therefore this is the answer. Got it? Okay. Now let's see this. So one is first thing is you have to substitute every symbol with the relation. So let me do that. Given statements are like this: J percentile, I'm just substituting it, A greater than D at the rate means equal to L. So this is one, and the other statement is L star means less, A star means less, and then M. Right? Okay. Now anyway you can join these two because here it is ending with L and here it is starting with L. You can just join them. Okay. So anyway if you see this, already between L and A there is relationship here as well, right? So A is greater than L, that is relationship. Here also it is saying A is greater than L, so I need not write it. So I can take this inequation, I mean A greater than D equal to L, I can take this and I need not write anything about A there. I can directly write about M, right? So what is the relationship between L and M? It is less, therefore L is less than M. I can directly write it there. Okay, fine. Now from this let me see if I could draw these conclusions. So the first one is M and J. Between M and J they are saying that the conclusion is between M and J it is star is given, which means less. So they are saying that between M and J is here, right? So actually we cannot compare these two. The reason is here there is greater than, here there is less. So we have two different types of inequalities, therefore we cannot compare these two. And coming to the second one, it is J, C, L, right? Therefore it is J and here C is greater, right? Greater than L. So this is what is given. Now between these two, if you see this, J is greater than L. Yes, if you see the minimum common part, it is greater, right? So J and L, which means you can remove D, in place of D you can put L here, and between J and L it is greater is the minimal common part. Therefore conclusion 2 is right. Okay, so conclusion 2 is right. And coming to D, the conclusion 3, it is about the relationship between D and M, and it is C, right? So between D and M, if you see C, it is greater, right? So now if you see between D and M here, so D and M here, so D you can write it here. Actually D is less than M, right? But here it is given as D is greater than M, so it is not right. So only 2 is right, right? So only 2 is true, which means option 3. Got it? Now while combining these two statements or any two statements, you should be careful about one thing. If already relationship between two things are given, let us say relationship between A and M is given here. Now after combining, you might feel that this is relationship, right? So from this relation, if you see it, you might feel that A and M are not related, right? But here if you see it, A and M are related. Therefore, if two elements are not directly related in one statement, then only you try to combine them and try to draw the relationship. If they are already related in some statement, you don't try to combine them in order to derive the relationship between those statements. Got it? So here between A and M, they are related here, so from this statement only you should derive. Anyway, that is not asked in the equation, but in case if they ask you directly, if you can derive it from the given statement, do it. Otherwise you combine it. Got it? Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So, first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%. But all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities, but whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.